All right, so you want to know about the good, the bad, the ugly about living in Orlando. We're going to talk about that right now, so stay tuned. All right, let's talk about one of the biggest pros in Orlando. It's going to be the weather. Definitely probably sunny most of the year, and then obviously we have, during the winter months, we have cooler days, which is absolutely phenomenal. You'll just have afternoons where it will be a little bit warmer than normal, but the morning and the night is absolutely spectacular. You'll love the weather here, especially if you're used to shoveling snow or maybe even sick and tired of getting full-blown dressed just to go get the mail. You'll definitely like the weather here in Central Florida because it's hot most of the year, and also the weather is really nice, just like any other Florida weather. Let's talk about the cons. One of the biggest cons is definitely public transportation. There's not that much, to be honest, just your normal Ubers, and also because of the tourism, there's a lot of Ubers and whatnot, but the main source of transportation is going to be your Lynx bus system, and then you're also your Sunrail, which is the other form of public transportation. And so they're pretty cost effective when it comes to traveling around Orlando, just not obviously the best systems, just like other cities like Chicago or maybe even New York. So you're probably going to need a car when you get here. All right, let's talk about the bad weather. Yeah, we have bad weather, go figure. We have a lot of bad weather here as well. It does rain. Just get used to the sunny weather in the morning possibly, and then the rainy weather towards the afternoon. That's usually how it works here. When it does get into the rainy season, we're talking about, you know, the summer months, mostly July, August, September, you're gonna have a lot more rain than normal. So just be prepared for that. Just know that you should probably check the weather every once in a while. Usually, if I'm not a weather expert, but what I've noticed since living here is usually if it's over 50% or 50% or more of rain, then you're probably gonna get wet, so just be aware of that. Another con, we're on a con roll here, but another con is gonna be the bugs. There are a lot of bugs here. A lot of people don't believe me, but I swear there's mosquitoes like crazy. So if you want that lake view, just be prepared to have mosquitoes close to your house, because at the end of the day, that's where they like to linger and hang out. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Sometimes the counties will help kind of control this with pesticides in the air. They'll spray if it's real bad, but just so you know, there are mosquitoes, we have flies as well, we have just all these kind of little critters and bugs, because we are in a humid atmosphere, we're in a tropical climate, and so you're gonna definitely have bugs that you'll see and maybe you're not used to. So just be prepared for that, and just maybe buy your sprays, you know, until it's something you could get used to, or maybe even buy those traps for bugs. But it's not like your house is going to be infested with them in most cases, but just be prepared for the bugs. That's all I can really say. All right, so a great pro. Let's talk about it. Orlando has been named the #1 growth in jobs. Let's talk about that. So here we have an amazing job market, which includes Space Coast. The Space Coast is really close to us. It's not Orlando, but it's considered Orlando because it's only about 45 minutes away. You have Blue Origin, SpaceX, you have NASA, you have Boeing. So you have all these companies that are really close in the space program that can definitely help you with jobs. We have engineering jobs as well, like Siemens, Lockheed Martin, which is a contractor for the government. My father-in-law worked for Lockheed Martin, great company to work for. They have amazing benefits and people stay there forever. You also have companies like Amazon, the international airport is great to work for. So it's not just about hospitality and Disney, but there are other options out there. I mean, Disney is a great company to work for too. I think you even get ticket perks. Also, Universal Studios, great company to work for as well. They're building a new theme park, and so that's exciting. So with that opportunity, it's going to bring a lot of jobs to Central Florida. And then obviously you have the medical city district, which is Lake Nona, and those have like 5, 6, 7 hospitals of just straight up medicine. So medicine's growing big there. My wife actually works in New Moore's hospital and she loves it. I mean, it's just a great atmosphere to be around, and obviously she gets to help the children. So I mean, that's the best part about working here is you're always going to contribute yourself to something greater than your own. It seems like with all these amazing jobs that have been coming about. A lot of people don't know this, but in Kissimmee, they're building out huge plan for one of the most technological cities in Orlando. And it's actually going to be in Osceola County or Kissimmee area. And it's going to house a whole bunch of technological advances, and it'll be one of the most technological places to go to in the US. So
wow, you know so much about technology.
the job growth is there in Orlando. And so if you're thinking about coming here and you're worried about maybe finding a job, there's definitely something for everyone here. Here's a con for sure, definitely something to consider and something to think about is that Orlando is a huge attraction destination. 60 to 75 million people come here a year. And the downside to that is definitely the traffic can be crazy. So if you're looking for a house, just be careful where you look. I mean, if it's closer to your work, I mean, I'm not trying to tell you where to go, but just be aware that Davenport is a short-term rental community, Champions Gate, short-term rental community. So you're going to run into more tourists on that side of Central Florida. I know that's not Central Florida, but it is definitely very close to it. And it's one of the suburbs of Orlando. So at the end of the day, you need to decide if that's close to your job or not, because sometimes there are deals out there that are too good to be true. And it may seem like a great idea to move out there, but you're going to run into 75 million tourists. And that might be pretty stressful after a couple of years of doing that. So just be aware of that. And then also the traffic you'll run into. But yeah, there's so many people that come here. The influx and outflux of individuals is crazy from all over the world. So just be aware that we are a tourist destination, and that could kind of hold things up on I-4, which is one of the major highways. Another great pro is definitely going to be that we have no state tax. So those tourists I was just talking about, the cons, yeah, they pay for the state tax to Disney, Universal, the hotels, the short-term rental communities. They pay the tax for us here in the state of Florida. So there's no state tax like New York or California. So you can save a lot of money by moving here. And I think that's one of the biggest benefits why people move here. Yes. I luckily grew up here, so I don't know any different, but there are a lot of people that don't know what it feels like to not pay a state tax. And so if you're thinking about coming to a state or even Central Florida in general, Florida is definitely a great option. I don't know why, but we've had a huge influx of people that recently noticed and figured out that we don't have any state tax, but it definitely is a benefit for the locals. And so thank the attractions and the hotels for that one. Another great pro is definitely that we're close to the beach. The beach is right around the corner from us. And so we're not on the beach, but we're close to the beach. And let me explain. So Orlando is more inland, so you're not going to be really close to the coastal region. But if you do decide to go to the beach, they're usually about 45 minutes to an hour away, which is great because you get the best of both worlds. You don't have to worry about the salt too much because you're inland, but at the same time, you also have the opportunity to go and spend your day at the beach with family. We love going to Cocoa. It's the closest one to us. New Smyrna is nice as well. Daytona is beautiful too. If you're going to Daytona, go to Bike Week. They have NASCAR there. You know, there's just so many benefits to going to the beaches. And then if you go towards the Tampa side, that's definitely going to take you about 2.5 hours to get there, because Tampa has been real saturated with people going to that side of the beach because it's a very beautiful beach. I'm not going to lie. They have nice beaches. But in any case, yeah, you're not that far from the beaches, somewhere between 45 minutes to an hour, depending on which beach you decide to go to. And I think that is definitely a pro of living here in Central Florida. Finally, the last one is hurricanes. So hurricane season is upon us. It usually starts at the beginning of summer all the way until November. And yes, we have been hit with hurricanes before. Now, here's my tips on hurricanes. If there is a hurricane, do not wait last minute like every other Floridian. try to prepare ahead of time. That way you guys are able to get water, and make sure you get batteries and all of that good stuff. Make sure you have all that stuff stored and ready to go, because I promise you the water will disappear and there'll be no water at some point. Make sure you get a generator in the off season of when the hurricanes hit. If you're looking for a property and you're kind of worried about electricity, or you guys really need it, trying to find a community that has electricity underground utilities. Sometimes that helps definitely with not losing power, but you can still lose power. And at the end of the day, just get that generator, get it in the off season. It'll be a lot cheaper than waiting for the hurricane to come and then buying it. So those are just some tips that you can take, but make sure you inquire and get as properly prepared as possible with the news, and obviously with whatever you think you may need to withstand a hurricane. Now, another great tip for hurricanes is definitely paying attention to the category of hurricane and understanding what kind of hurricane you're getting into. So those are also very important, because if it's definitely a stronger hurricane, you might want to seek shelter. So that's why I say that. I can remember when 2005, I think there was 3 hurricanes that hit us back to back to back. We didn't even stay in our house. We stayed in the high school close to our house. And so with that being said, we were way more cautious then, because we didn't want to, get hurt or maybe lose somebody or fly away. So if you have the opportunity to go to a shelter, just take advantage of it and go. At the end of the day, you're protecting yourself, you're protecting your family. A house could be replaceable, but your family can't. Those are just some of the tips that I give you, and hopefully they help. And this concludes the end of the video. I hope you liked what I said, and hopefully you could take it into consideration before moving here, because to be honest, it might not be a fit for you. And if you decide to move here, feel free to reach out to us. We are one of the biggest relocation teams here in Central Florida. We love to help you out. I left my number in the description and email down below. You can call, text, email us, anything, and we're here to help you at the end of the day. Thanks.